Okay, so I am just filming a video right now. I am finally doing it. I have been seriously putting this off for like a hot minute now. I basically keep thinking, okay, I filmed this footage and the footage didn't turn out exactly how I liked, and I, I keep thinking it's not enough, and so I keep not doing anything with it. And I knew I wanted to do a voiceover, and I wanted to talk about something that was on my mind. I didn't have anything specific when I filmed it, but was just hoping that kind of inspiration would come to me, but it's not. And so I've just put it off for a pretty long time. And today my husband and I were talking about whether or not to film and what to film. And he had such an interesting analogy. He said, he's like, does a bird think before it sings? And it's just, he's like, just go for it, just be who you are, just talk, just be. And, hopefully someone will care. Hopefully we'll speak to someone, just even one person. And if not, then you're still creating, and that's worthwhile. And so I think birdsong is going to sound a lot prettier than what I have to say right now, but even if it's just one person watching the bird or listening to the bird, I don't know why I keep going on with this bird analogy, but I don't know. I think it's worth it to put yourself out there. And so this is me putting myself out there. I filmed this on a rainy day, and I kind of meant it to be like these still shots where you could see the rain, and I, recorded audio of the rain so that you could hopefully hear it as well. And, the footage didn't come out exactly how I'd wanted, but man, you really just can't beat the stillness and the beauty of nature and the forest, and just that feeling of just being and feeling so small and insignificant, but in the best way. And we've been cooped up in our apartment so much lately. I mean, we've really done a terrible job at getting out and doing things, and I think COVID obviously put a wrench in that. But I mean, I think a lot of people still, it's like I can go to local trails and I can go for walks and I can do things like that, and we hadn't been, and we'd been feeling so crappy, because if you're anything like me, you just come alive when you are in nature. And this is the first time that we got out. It was the first time that we'd really made it out and were in the woods and just felt the comfort of that in so long. And it was so beautiful. Even though the footage didn't turn out, I couldn't help but just want to be creative. And I just had this overflowing fountain of just ideas and inspiration. And honestly, the moment I kind of got back to our apartment, it left me. And that makes me sad. It makes me sad to think I live in a place that's extremely uninspiring to me. And it makes me wonder, how can I spend my time more wisely and more intentionally so that I come alive and I feel alive, I think if you were constantly in nature, and you love nature, at some point you're a little bit desensitized to it. But I think, it's important to know what makes you come alive and what makes you you. And, we just really felt that so strongly, my husband and I, when we were doing a hike and we were just filming a lot of these clips. Actually, we did a hike the next day. We went around the first day. Like I said, I was just inspired. And even though it didn't turn out, I'm still happy. I'm still happy that I filmed this. And the beautiful thing is that, you know, in 20 years, I'll have just a little piece of this day with me forever. And I love that. And so, yeah, I guess I'm just talking to you about how we live our lives and how we're living it. Is it conducive to who we are? And if it's not, how do we change that? Because the contrast of who I was in those woods, which I would say is like my truest self, versus who I am when I'm in the city and I'm just binging Netflix all day and on my phone too much. Man, they are two different people. This might sound kind of cheesy, but a few weeks ago, I kind of rediscovered this old home footage, video footage that we had. And it's me as like a 2 or 3 year old, I think 3, maybe 4. And my parents used to really like this band called the Gypsy Kings. And I would always put on these like, you know, crazy outfits. And I would just be dancing and twirling and singing. And I was just so unabashed and free, and just free of the burdens of life. I was so lucky and fortunate to have a beautiful childhood. And I mean, the older that I get and the more that I grow up, the more that I realize what a blessing that is. And when I was watching those videos, honestly, like a piece of me kind of broke watching it, because I realized, would the way that I am living now disappoint this little girl version of me, this free, just totally myself version of me? You know, if I said, hey, this is what I'm doing, you know, would she be excited? Would she be, you know, would she just, it makes me sad to think that maybe the way I'm living now would make the most innocent, free little kid version of me just like sad. And so I guess my thought or my challenge for you today is, you know, not everyone's going to have been fortunate enough to have had a childhood that was beautiful, and to have home videos and things like that. And so, you know, I just ask you, even if you had not a good childhood and things happen, there is still that beautiful, innocent, lovely version of yourself somewhere inside. And so, you know, for you, it might be this period of time when you were a teenager. But I just ask you, when was your most truest self? When was the most true version of you, the most you that you could be? And would that version of you be happy with how you're living now? Would they be sad? And I just ask you, what steps can you take just on a daily basis, even if it is so small, to make that version of yourself happier? To just, you know, think, okay, I'm not maybe where I want to be, but I'm a heck of a lot better than I was yesterday or a few months ago. And, you know, if you're dealing with mental health struggles like a lot of us are right now, especially coming out of COVID, it's okay if it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or even worse than that. The point is that, you know, over time, hopefully there is some steady uphill, you know. And so I ask you to just ask yourself that, you know, would the teenage version of me be like stoked that this is the way I'm living? Would the 3-year-old version of me be stoked that this is how I'm living? Would the 3-year-old version of me be proud that today I got out of bed and brushed my hair and brushed my hair and brushed my teeth? You know? Would the 8-year-old version of me be happy that I, you know, took the dog for a walk and got some work done and got to sleep at a good time and didn't spend the whole day on my phone like a zombie? I mean, it might sound stupid, but I ask you to ask yourself this, and maybe this question will mean something to you. Maybe it won't, but I just ask that you ask yourself, because I asked myself, and it's made it's made all the difference for me. So, yeah. Um, Thanks for listening to this odd little ramble. I am just starting out here. I'm going to be posting a bunch of assortment of things, anywhere from weird, just ASMR stuff, or videos like this where I talk about something that's kind of on my mind, or videos talking about books that I like, or journals, or just, I don't know, just random things. So, yeah, I just ask that if you enjoyed this at all, like, comment, possibly subscribe. It really, really helps my small channel. And I thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a really good day.